Very disappointing in what we witnessed last Saturday with the Panthers' second preseason game versus the Buffalo Bills. We are going to talk about it. We're going to look at the offense, the defense, and just the mentality, just everything that went into that game. Let's talk about it right here. Coming up next on Inside P Town.
Everybody wants to be a panther until it's time to hunt. Inside P-Town, let's hunt.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Inside P Town. I am your host, P Way, and we are going to talk about that performance on Saturday. First thing I want to do is have a mental check-in with the fans, right? Because I see a lot of opinions coming to the Carolina Panther fan base telling us to not overreact to what we saw. It's just a preseason game. Don't overreact, right? That's a lot of what I've been hearing. Hearing you guys crash out so early, it's crazy. It's just one game. It's just one series. All right, that's what I've been hearing. And I'm going to say this. For most of the fan base, we've all been diagnosed with PFPTSD. PFPTSD. That is Panthers Football Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder. Panthers Football Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder. So if you find yourself crashing out, if you find yourself worrying or being highly concerned or overreacting, we all have a doctor's note. We all have a doctor's note in our profile that says that we all have PFPTSD and we have the right to feel this way. So you, Panthers fan, you're valid. You're valid to overreact. You're valid to be overly concerned. All right? It's in your Panther football medical history that you have Panthers football post-traumatic stress disorder. Because when we saw that offense come out and perform the way they did, the first thing we did was say, oh no, not again. Am I right or am I right? You said, oh no, not again. Let's talk about it. First thing I saw, went back and watched the All-22 because I want to know what happened. To go 3 and out 3 times, what happened? Number one, the biggest effect on the offense, number 62. I'm not going to say his name. Number 62. You was getting your tail whooped. Bryce didn't have time to throw. Brooks couldn't even get to the second level. Shoot, he couldn't even get to the first level. I mean, he was getting completely dismantled. Anytime a defensive tackle can get straight to the backfield, that disrupts the pass and the run. And there's nothing you could do. And that's literally what happened. So number 62 single-handedly just ruined the offense. I'm just being honest. It was bad. There was some, rusty work with Luke Fortner too at center, I would say. But mainly, we just didn't have a chance. From Bryce, him had that one batted pass. That's just some things I learned. That's what we're going to have with Bryce. His stature, his size, there's going to be passes that are going to be batted down. And every now and then, there's going to be a pick based off of him not being able to see clearly. And every now and then, there's going to be a forced fumble because of his stature. I've learned that those things are going to happen. You just want them to not happen at crucial times and not as much. But those things are just going to happen. But as far as outside of that, there wasn't much he can do. They tried to speed it up. They ran a quick receiver screen one time to Coker that went for a couple of yards. They ran a little quick snap pass to Tommy Tremble. I mean, there was nothing literally we can do. The receivers weren't doing the best at separating. I was watching some routes. Actually, the first pass play, the route by Xavier Legette, I don't know what route that was. It looked like some type of comeback. But I mean, he was blanketed. And that's what Bryce Reed was. He looked at him and he wasn't open. And that was just the nature of the game. Receivers weren't creating a lot of separation. T-Mac looked like he wasn't really running full speed at times. When I was looking with that first string offense, it was just a bad showing. And then too, just the concepts. Going to Brad Isaac, the concepts. It seemed like their defense was just perfectly called. They were in the right position. So I think all those three things. You think you have 62. You have receivers not really getting open, not giving much for Bryce to work with, and then you had just the defense was on point. So that's why we saw what we saw. Canales came out and said that he already had in his mind it's going to be about three series for the offense. He thought that would be 10 to 20 snaps. Once we did it 3 times, he thought, you know what? They don't deserve another series. It's not worth it for injuries. It's not worth it based off production. It's just like, hey, call it a day. I can understand that. But I understand that just because of injuries. We cannot, it's preseason, right? But the dog in me is like, no, make them run another series. Make them prove to you that we're setting the foundation and the understanding you're not leaving this field until you produce. I think that sends a better message. I think that holds the first team offense and the production and number 62 more accountable. You go to them during the game on the bench, say you are not producing. Step up right now. You're not getting off the field, or we're not getting off the field. So it's on you until you produce and this team leaves the field with some points. I think that sets a different message, right? But I can't be mad at, obviously want to preserve the players. It's the preseason. We cannot have any more injuries because that's why we're in the place we're in right now. We need Robert Hunt and Damian Lewis back tomorrow. I mean, tomorrow. So I'm just very, very disappointed. Like I said, I understand this is raising the red flag, and there is a red flag now on the offense. And I told you before, this is the key to our success this year. It's not the defense. Our defense is going to be comparable. They're going to be a good defense, definitely good enough to where we can get to the playoffs. I'm not worried about that. It's going to be on this offense to produce. Where we averaged 18 points, like 7 points per game last year. That's horrific in today's NFL, and it's not going to cut it. So it wasn't much to cover. Looking at the all 22, that was it. We need to see better. Now, going to the defense, I love that we were getting tested with Josh Allen. We were going to have a good receiver and DJ Moore out there. We had James Cook off in the backfield. We had Dawkins, another defensive lineman. So, good offensive lineman for the Bills. So it was good to see what our edge rush was going to look like. First time seeing Devin Lloyd, our secondary, right? So what I saw with the all 22, number one, Princely. I got to give a kudos to Princely. After the Hall of Fame game, I was like, yo, when I saw Princely play in the Hall of Fame game, I was questioning if that was even him. But when I went and reviewed the tape, I mean, he was putting some work on Dawkins. And Dawkins is a all-pro, right? He's a top 100 every year NFL player. And Princely was, he was doing some lot of great things. So shout out to Princely. on the sacks and the pressures. He looked really good. Jalen Phillips. Everyone's asking, about the contract. Was it worth it? He's shown that he can be an absolute force. I mean, the absolute force. When he was chipped, he still played through it and got to the quarterback. So I love what I saw out of Jalen Phillips, and that addition is going to be really, really great for us this year. I can see that helping us a lot on them third downs, the third and longs. I mean, I think we're going to be getting off the field at a better clip this year. Devin Lloyd is everything that we thought. Everything that we thought. We saw him flying around. He made a great pursuit tackle in the backfield one time. Doing good in coverage. Just good to see that. Now, I did see, once again, I would say that Joe Brady's play calling was better than Evero's, simply. I mean, everything he called, some passes was just wide open. There was some miscommunication. And it wasn't much of the secondaries. A lot of it was the linebackers, specifically Shirless. That's not his strong point, coverage. He's more of their run stopper, which he actually did pretty good in that game. He made a nice solid tackle, but his pass coverage, it needs some work. Just understanding concepts and understanding where to be. A lot of time he has his eyes to the quarterback, and the quarterback can manipulate him very easily. So that's what I saw on why a lot of their passes were open, and just our concepts. I know it frustrates us seeing the cornerbacks on a 4th and 3. I think we had a cornerback back like 6 yards. We give them an easy out. It made no sense. I still don't know why that's being done. It's hard to me to believe that a coach is telling them on 4th and 3 to play 7 yards back. This has to be a combination of the players doing it on their own and the comfort in the system and getting close to getting to the zone or doing whatever it is for that play. But that's neither here or there. It happened. Still a lot to work with. I do like that our defense held strong the first time, just the 3 points. And yeah, a lot of the plays that were just wide open were just better play calling too. Simple as that. So, yeah, there's nothing in the player's control on some of those things. So, hopefully that changes. But that's what preseason is for. Stuff like that does happen. Miscommunication. You can fix that, right? But the inability of a player is the inability of a player. So we'll see if they address the linebacker room. If we end up upgrading, if we feel like Shirless is not going to be enough, or Trevin Wallace, in that case, because I think that's the next position we'll look at probably adding to. So yeah, that's what I saw out of the defense. Now going to the other players further into the offensive defense that I saw make an impact. Once again, Jasim Reed, man, he's showing up. He's just showing that he's just a solid receiver now. It's hard not seeing him make this team. I thought Jimmy Horn played pretty well, had a little good return on kick return, which those extra yards on kick return, man, is going to mean so much during our season when we're starting from the 36-yard line or the 37-yard line, right? Just us being able to just get 3 points on the drive, is going to be the difference sometime in us winning and losing with the schedule that we have. So I like what I saw of both those receivers, man. And then Mechie had a touchdown. So once again, like I told y'all, who's going to separate out of that pack? And David Moore as well. I thought he had a nice route one time on a go ball. Kenny Pickett, I think, overshot him. So, yeah. Who's going to come out of that pack? Who knows? I thought that was pretty good to see, though, all the receivers really kind of stepping up in that role. Yeah, those are really my key standouts. Kenny Pickett did do a pretty good job of servicing the offense. So once he came in, so on the defensive side, Luke Fortner. No, excuse me, not Luke Fortner. Jake Kuwatch, my man Kuwatch. Got my eye on him. He looked pretty good. He looked pretty good at linebacker as the game was going on. I'm not going to lie, I kind of zoned out later on in the game. It was hard to watch. A little bit very, very disappointed in our first string and made the other the other 40 minutes of the game kind of miserable to watch. But yeah, I'm still looking to see what young players show up. Lee Hunter, he's still just trying to grasp the speed of the game. I think a defensive tackle that happens a lot. It takes them a little bit longer to adjust to the speed of the game in the NFL. So hopefully he does better. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to the fact that we have a practice this week on Wednesday with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I hope Damian Lewis is ready. I hope Robert Hunt is ready, that they will be at practice because it's time. We need all hands on deck, and we need some production fast. So it's very, very critical for us to get those live reps versus other teams to figure out what is going on. All right. So good thing is preseason, it's week 2, it's just a month in, but there's not a point. It's a month in for the Bills too. And they did what they did, right? It's a month in for all the other 32 teams in the NFL, 31 teams, excuse me, in the NFL. And I think I know we had the worst performance out of the offense. The worst performance. We're going with starters. So with that being said, it is what it is. I don't care if it's preseason or season, we ball. We ball. That's it. That has to be the standard. And what we saw was not the standard. So joint practice this week on Wednesday versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Preseason game on Friday versus the Jaguars. They're a talented group. Hopefully they play their starters. They should for the second game of the preseason. So they're very talented on offense and have some young guys, a lot of speed on defense as well. So it'll be a great, great test for both of our units. And we look forward to more. And I just hope, once again, just be better, because my PTSD, my Panther football post-traumatic stress disorder, is kicking in, and I needed to go. So this is your boy P-Way, man. Another episode of Inside P-Town. And hopefully the next time here, I'm more cheerful, happy. But that's on the Panthers to decide on what they bring. So I'll see you guys next time. And like always, stay in the hunt. Peace.